years.
Some lawmakers coming out against a new permanent service the IRS now plans to offer, which could prepare and file your tax returns for you. At least a dozen state attorneys general sent a letter to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen opposing it, saying American taxpayers don't want to invite the proverbial fox into the henhouse. They wrote, every year, tens of millions of taxpayers file their taxes for free with help from existing programs or online software. Additionally, millions of Americans work with small businesses in our states to file their taxes at an affordable cost, including both independent tax preparation services and local accountants. They choose to do so because they want an advocate in their corner who will represent their interests against the IRS bureaucracy. Joining us now to discuss this is Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold. Great to see you, sir. Thanks for joining us. So this service is called Direct File, and it was released earlier this year in a few states. Tell us more about it.
Yeah, so back in 2022, Congress and the president gave the IRS $15 million to study the feasibility and cost associated with creating a program like this. Rather than actually doing what they were told, they just took that money, as well as a lot of other taxpayer resources, and built this pilot program. They didn't have the authorization of Congress, and now they are making the program permanent. It's going to cost taxpayers a lot of money, but more importantly, as you note in that letter, it is putting the fox in charge of the henhouse by giving the IRS the ability to tell you exactly how much you owe in taxes, rather than having a private advocate like a CPA from your neighborhood on your side defending your interests.
You said that's going to cost a lot of money. How much? How much is this costing U.S. taxpayers?
The IRS estimated it would cost about $250 million a year, but they have been absolutely shredded by the Government Accountability Office, a government watchdog, as well as a lot of outside observers for vastly understating the cost because, again, they plowed forward and built this before they really knew how much it was going to cost. This pilot program is just the camel's nose under the tent. There's going to be a lot more costs downstream.
And states argue this is going to cost them revenue in the end because it doesn't file your state taxes for you, right? Which is what a lot of these services do. They do your federal and your state.
Yeah, so the 12 states that they initially picked for this pilot program, the vast majority of them don't have state income taxes. States like New Hampshire, Florida, and Texas. So if they want to build this thing out, as they've stated they're going to do, they're going to have to find a way to integrate that with state tax systems. That's a very complicated process because every time states change their codes, you're going to have enormous costs that go on to taxpayers as the IRS has to update and fix its systems. That's going to be incredibly expensive and clunky, and it's just setting us up for a huge mess down the road.
Yeah, there's already a public-private free tax filing program that anyone making $79,000 or less can use, and that's really nearly 70% of all taxpayers. So then why do you think, then, is the government pushing for this?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. We already have these programs available to people that need them, that can't afford tax prep services. So the IRS, they've stated that they're in revenue maximization mode. And by that, I mean, they're trying to squeeze every nickel, dime, and penny out of taxpayers that they possibly can. If they're doing your taxes for you, guess what? It makes it a lot easier then for them to squeeze that out of you without having to go through a costly audit. So I hate to be cynical there, but it looks like they're trying to increase the amount of money that people pay rather than having an advocate in your corner trying to minimize, in a legal fashion, minimize your tax liability each year.
Meantime, a lot of lawmakers say that $250 million could be spent perhaps maybe on more customer service, having more people answer the phone if you call. All right, Executive Vice President of the National Taxpayers Union, Brandon Arnold, great to see you. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us.